What's up, guys? Welcome back to the podcast, or as I should say, welcome to really the first episode of the podcast. I have my buddy Hutto here in the top right, as you can see, and my buddy Collin. Let everybody know what teams you're fans of, and a little bit about yourself.
Go ahead, Hutto. Let them know.
My name is Josh Hutto. Go Dogs, baby. Horns down, no Rios.
All right.
My name's Collin. I'm a Georgia fan and a Texas fan. Let's go Horns.
Yeah, so, and of course, y'all know me. I'm Tate, and I'm a Florida fan. So yeah, nothing surprising here. We're trash anyway. All right, so basically every week we're gonna come on here and talk about the previous week. So the previous week, this week is week 2. And then we'll talk a little bit about our games of the week for week 3 coming up too. So with that being said, pretty good weekend of college football. There were some crazy games. Did you guys get to watch a lot of games this weekend, or?
I did actually get to watch a couple games because I was watching my child. So we had a father-son football game watch all day for 8 hours.
I watched a little bit while I was in the duck field, but other than that, I just checked a bunch of stats. All I got to see.
Yeah, I got to watch a pretty good bit. It's the first time in a long time I haven't watched the Georgia game. Me being I like your cat back there, Collin. Me being a Florida fan, I like to watch Georgia. I don't know why, I just do. Praying on their downfall, but it's been a minute, guys. I'm not gonna lie.
You like to see excellence.
You haven't come out of the closet yet. And,
I'm not a Georgia fan, bro. I promise you.
No, I'm not talking about that, but yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I'll see what's going on here. All right.
You know, I do like watching a good Florida game in the Swamp. Good atmosphere. I feel like they got a better atmosphere at the Swamp than they do at Sanford Stadium, but that's just me.
When Florida's good, it's good. When they're bad, it can get pretty bad. Like Miami, the Miami game, it was torture for those fans. I'm sure it's hot. A lot of people hit the exits. Probably about midway through the third quarter, we were getting torched. So.
But the Tom Petty thing, I love it.
Oh yeah, that's lit. That's lit. I actually had Evan Grimes and some of his friends went to the game this weekend, and they sent me some videos of it. Anyway, they were chanting DJ Lagway. We're gonna get into that in a minute. Anyway, biggest winners from week 2 of college football. Who are your biggest winners? We'll start with Hutto. Go ahead. Who's your big winners?
All right, I'm going to say I picked 2 big winners because there's 3 of us, so I knew I didn't want all of us to have the same one. My big winner is number 1 is Nebraska. The reason I'm saying that is because people had doubts with Raiola and wanted to see where they were going to go, and I just wanted to see Colorado lose. So that's who my big winner. My next big winner would be Texas, because I think this was, kind of showing how they're going to go for the rest of the season. A lot of people, Michigan is kind of a question mark this year of how they're going to do because of the loss of a coach and the loss of a lot of players. But I think Nebraska is our big winner this week.
I like it. All right, Collin, who's your winners?
Nebraska is booty cheeks. Colorado is even more booty cheeks. But for my big winner, SEC school, knocking off NC State, Tennessee. Nico, name. Don't know how to pronounce it.
I can't pronounce it.
Well, just call him Nico.
That's what I call him.
I watched him last year in the game after what's his name?
Milton.
Milton. After he backed out, I watched him. I liked him. Skinny kid. Probably needs to gain a couple pounds, but he had two touchdowns, 2 interceptions for 211, 8 rushes for 65 yards and a tutty. That was my big winner. If you can go into the SEC, yeah, they're playing an ACC opponent, but NC State was ranked. I like Tennessee. I don't know what I like about them yet. They have their coach knows how to get points on the board.
Yes, Heupel's very good.
Yes, and that's my biggest thing is I really have Nico being a little dark horse for the Heisman, in my opinion. But my honorable mention was Iowa State, though.
Yeah, good game, really good game. There,
broke my heart in my bet I had in the week. I could have swore Iowa was gonna just not even let them score, which Iowa can't score because they are led by the paraplegics. But goodness gracious.
Yeah, I agree. Y'all took both of mine. Mine was Texas. Hutto mentioned Texas. That's a big win on the road in the big house against a top 10 opponent. I'm not sure they're really top 10. That's why I don't really like preseason rankings. The quarterback situation
Booty.
at Michigan is less than optimal for Coach Sharon Moore. Yeah, but the defense even like you can tell they got gassed pretty quick, and Quinn Ewers was carving them up. Sarkisian's a goat, bro. I'm just gonna say it. He's not the goat, but he's one of the best in the country right now. Kirby Smart, I think, is top tier, and then there's a couple that are just under him. Sarkisian being one of them. And then my other one was Tennessee again. Nico can make every throw on a football field. He's young. The arm talent's there. You've seen him scramble and get out the pocket a little bit this weekend too. Complete package. Tennessee's defense looked pretty good as well. Tennessee is a force to be reckoned with. I'm not saying NC State's great or anything, but I like Tennessee a lot. They showed out, man. All right, so I'll start us off with the biggest losers. I think I got two again. There were some guys that underperformed, to say the least. Notre Dame was number one for me. Lost at home to Northern Illinois. Embarrassing, bro. And as a Florida fan, I've been there. We lost to Georgia Southern at home. I mean, it's embarrassing. I know how it feels. A lot of people were high on Marcus Freeman coming into the year. Now I get on Twitter and all the Notre Dame fans, burn it down, get rid of him. And then my second biggest loser was Michigan, man. You had a chance to prove you were a top 10 team. The defense was okay. Offense is just, it's a mess. Yeah, those are my two biggest losers, though. All right, we'll go back to Collin here. Collin, who's your biggest losers?
Let's say, anytime you see Notre Dame, that's not even a loss, that's a win. We love when we see Notre Dame lose, except when it was Rudy. But my biggest loser, just because, again, I bet on Georgia Tech to friggin' blow out Syracuse. And what do? They step on their pecker.
Exactly what I told everybody they were going to do, but no.
Georgia Tech. But the thing of it is, so I saw where Syracuse's coach was basically thanking Ryan Day for letting Kyle McCord come over there. So he was 32 for 46, 381 yards with 4 touchdowns, no interceptions.
Yeah, he looked good. Fran Brown's really got it cooking up there in Syracuse. He's going to be fantastic. Another guy off the Kirby Smart coaching tree. And
it wasn't even that Georgia Tech played awful, but man, they just on all phases of the football, like special teams, offense, defense, they got manhandled. But also, I wanted to say that Riley Leonard, he should have stayed at Duke, which Duke is. I'm a North Carolina basketball fan. Duke belongs in the toilet. So does he. 20 for 32, 163 yards with 2 INTs.
I know he didn't have a touchdown week 1, and I know deep into that game he didn't have a touchdown. I don't think he's thrown a touchdown yet this year, 2 games in.
He hadn't. He's awful.
Yeah, he hasn't looked great. And I was the guy that was kind of high on him. I knew he wasn't the most accurate quarterback coming out of Duke, but he could make things happen outside of the pocket, what he did. But that just shows you Coach Ilko, I think, at Duke, who's now at A&M, is a great coach. Hutto, your biggest losers, who you got?
I've obviously got Notre Dame. It kind of puts them on the map for where we always thought they were. ESPN, and for some reason always wants to put them in the top, at least top 15. Every time they play a game that they're supposed to win, they underperform. So this wasn't surprising for me. But my second, biggest loser is Colorado. And it's the same deal, is because you've got all this hype with Coach Prime and some of the players they have. Colorado is in a dumpster fire at this point. You have your QB1 walking off the field with 2 minutes left in the game. That should never happen. It's unprofessional, and I think that's the kind of environment that Coach Prime is breeding over there at Colorado. So I would say that they are almost, Notre Dame was kind of expected. I did not think it was going to be from a team of that caliber, but I think Colorado, really, that was a big loss, because I think that's going to show what's going to go for the rest of the season.
Yeah. So I got a question for y'all. Do y'all think the loss of Northern Illinois should eliminate Notre Dame from playoff contention? They don't have a tough schedule. I think they play maybe 2 more games that are like that, teams that were preseason ranked or are ranked now, and that's USC and Florida State. I just don't see a way. Even if they run the table, should they get in? I want to hear y'all's opinion. Then I'll give mine.
It's always tough for a team in the beginning of the year. These first 2 games, you're kind of trying to find yourself out. Notre Dame might figure out a good pattern for them and might figure out, getting a groove and might be better. But this is what the 12-team playoff is going to be great for. It's going to weed out these guys like Notre Dame, like, some of these other teams that, often TCU prime example a couple years or last year when, 2 years ago. Wow, time flies. But 2 years ago when they played UGA in the national championship, you know, this is what the 12-team playoff is for. So, is it for me to say that they shouldn't be able to get in or automatic suspension if they went out? No, but I think that's what the 12-team playoff is for: is to weed teams like this out of the national championship.
What about you, Colin?
Keep Notre Dame off of any list to ever be recorded in college football. This isn't the 40s anymore, the 50s. But no, I mean, I'm looking at their schedule. They got Louisville at the end of September. Louisville's ranked 19th. They got to play Georgia Tech at Georgia Tech. And then my biggest thing, if they win out, they're going to get in the 12-team playoff because I like USC. Decent to run the table a little bit too, because that's who they play the last game. If they can beat USC and USC's got a good record, then they should be able to get in. But
yeah, I agree. I think if they run the table, they're going to get in. That's the problem, though. They don't play in a conference. They don't play a conference title game. I don't know. They just need to join a conference, in my opinion, and make things much simpler. All right, moving on. So I told y'all through text message we're going to do players of the week. If you do have defensive players of the week, that's fine. I struggled to find them. The first week we did the podcast, second week we did the podcast, and now I struggled again. So I just got 2 offensive players of the week. We'll go Colin first right here. Who are your players of the week?
As much as it pains me to say, we got to go with DJ Lagway. The kid is a freshman. He went 18 for 25 attempts, 456 yards. I don't care if you were a 5-star. 456 yards is hard for anybody to get. 3 touchdowns, looked good. He had 2 throws for 85 yards and 77 yards. I'm telling you, not everybody can make that. But my honorable mention is of course Boise State's running back. The dude is a workhorse. 25 carries, 192 yards against Oregon, which I'm not big on Oregon at all. I think they're a lot of overhype on Oregon's side, but that dude is a menace.
Yeah, I agree. Ashton Jeanty is built different, buddy. He's huge.
But he's rushed for 45. He's had 45 carries. He's had 459 yards and 9 touchdowns.
Yeah, they've got to put some respect on his name for as far as Heisman contention goes. I know the first game was Georgia Southern, but Georgia Southern went on the road and beat a Nevada team that's not bad this weekend. They're not terrible. They just could not tackle Ashton Jeanty, dude. And same thing with Oregon. He ran physical. I watched a little bit of that game late night. He's just a physical back, man. He wears down defenses. It's impressive how he's built, dude. He's built different.
He's stout. But those are my 2 guys. But yeah, DJ Lagway, he's nasty. He's crazy.
All right, Hutto, who's your players of the week, brother?
I'm gonna have to go with Cade Klubnik, Clemson's quarterback, because he showed their first game against UGA, he showed basically nothing. I don't know if that was just because UGA's defense is really strong this year or they just weren't clicking. But he had a 96 completion rate, and that's almost impossible when you get above 95 and above. That's a crazy stat. Another, for defense this week, I don't have a particular person, but South Florida's defense, what they did with Alabama at home was super impressive. And I believe if they would have had if they would have been a little bit deeper on defense, I believe that game would have been over with. And obviously their offense did struggle in the scoring department, but if South Florida's offense could have stepped up and kept South Florida's defense off the field, I think that game would have went to South Florida. Alabama really struggled with them, so I think that they deserve a mention as their entire defensive front.
I like it. And yeah, if you want to mention whole defenses, that's fine too. That's well deserved for South Florida, in my opinion. I watched probably the third and fourth quarters of that game live, and yeah, I mean, you could tell they were getting gassed, and that showed at the very end of the game when Alabama kind of took over in the last 8 minutes of the game, scored like 3 or 4 touchdowns. Anyway,
Yeah.
I like your picks. Mine are, of course, DJ Lagway, and I usually don't go for Florida players because people will call me a homer. Billy, look at me, Billy. Start this man Saturday, bro. Stop playing with me, okay? I love Graham Mertz. If you want a breakdown on this, I just released a YouTube video. That's what my new YouTube video is about, the case for DJ Lagway. I look at the throws from Saturday. I watched it live. There's a couple throws that only a couple guys in the country can make. This guy's a freshman. And yeah, he's going to make mistakes, but your job's on the line, Billy. I don't know if you understand this, brother. Like, you walk around like nonchalant, looking like the dude off Sling Blade, and it's starting to get on my nerves. I'm not going to lie to you, buddy. And I'm rooting for you. I'm still rooting for you. Whoever is the coach at Florida, I'm rooting for you to win, but don't be an idiot, please, God. Anyway, I love Graham Mertz. That's no shade at Graham Mertz. Graham Mertz did a lot of good things last year for us. He was also sacked 39 times behind a terrible offensive line, and our offensive line's bad again this year. So we need Lagway in there, I feel like. And then my second one was Cam Scatabo. Running back, Arizona State, a white guy, bro. And this is no racism. This dude is a white running back. And he carried the ball 33 times, 262 yards, no touchdowns, unfortunately, but 8 yards a carry against Mississippi State in SEC defense. Not saying they're good on defense, but it was not against like a slouch opponent like a group of 5 team. And yeah, I watched his highlights. Buddy runs hard. He's different. So yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, and you don't really see someone running the ball for 32 times a game these days.
Yeah. Yeah, and then
he's a white running back like that since
dude,
McCaffrey.
McCaffrey, but this dude's built like a hybrid. Do y'all remember Toby Gerhart from Stanford?
Yes, I was.
He's kind of big, swole, and then he's kind of fast, like McCaffrey, faster than Gerhart. But yeah, that's what he reminds me of. Dude's a workhorse. So shout out to Cam Scatabo. Boo. That's how the people pronounce it when I was watching his highlights. Anyway, moving on to the games of the week, guys. These are in no particular order. We're just going to go right down the list. Games of the week. The first one we're going to talk about is Boston College at Missouri. I guess I'll start us off here. I think the quarterback for Boston College, Thomas Castellanos, Ware County kid from Georgia. You've seen he gave Florida State problems. Florida State has many problems right now, as does Florida. Anyway, at Missouri, though, I like Brady Cook. I like the quarterback. I like the defense. I like Eli Drinkwitz. And I like Missouri here to win this game at home. We'll go Hutto next. Hutto, who you got?
I'm going with Boston College. I'm kind of looking for the proverbial upset of Missouri's season. Boston College is kind of coming off of a high, playing Florida State and putting the whipping they put on them. And I cannot remember who did they play this. Who they play this week? I didn't look.
Dude, I have no idea. I'll be honest.
But anyway, I think they play well in big games, and we've seen that over the past couple of years. So I'm gonna have to go on Boston College on this one.
Tough pick there, Hutto. Hey, but anybody named Castellanos, if it was a Georgia team, I would pick them for sure because Castellanos kills the Braves. But Waycross quarterback, hey, dude's a stud. I like him a lot. Watched him against Florida State. But Missouri's just got a very good defense. And like Tate said, Brady Cook is legit, should light it up. But it could be closer than we think. Remember when Georgia went down there? I mean, it should be a tight ball game, but playing in that stadium, it makes good teams play worse, I feel like. But I got it 38-17 Missouri.
Oh, I like it. Maybe next week I'm gonna start. We can start predicting the scores too. I like that. So yeah. We all pick. Wait, you pick. Hutto picked Boston College. We picked Missouri. I like it though. I'm not gonna lie. I think like you said, Boston College dominated Florida State in the trenches. I mean, was pushing around on offense and defense. I don't know that they'll be able to do that in Missouri, and I like what Eli Drinkwitz is doing there in Columbia, dude. I really do. He's made the right call so far. Giving up play calling was something that a lot of the Missouri fans wanted him to do. He did that last year, and you saw it paid off. Billy Napier needs to give up play calling too. We got I'll talk about it when we get to A&M. I'll tell you what. I'll talk about it. Next game, LSU at South Carolina. This is, I'm pretty sure College Game Day is going here. South Carolina, I think, is 2-0. They look good against Kentucky. And LSU, what are they 1-1? I think right now they lost to USC game week 1. Hutto, or no, we'll go Collin this time. Collin, who you got right here?
All right, for this game, let's see. All right, everybody knows USC is Reggie Bush, USC. Should be an easy matchup to pick. SC has always played good at home. That's the only thing that I would give to them. They normally are pretty tough. Basically, anytime I watch them is when Georgia plays them, and Georgia normally struggles on the road there. But I've got LSU pulling this one out. Should be a blowout, in my opinion. I really like what's the quarterback's name?
From LSU?
I can't pronounce
Garrett
his last name.
Nussmeier.
Yeah, Nussmeier. But
the only reason I can pronounce it is his dad was our OC for a little while at Florida, so and not very good.
Yeah, I don't see him losing to two USCs in a row. I got LSU 42-14, blowing them out.
Okay, I like it. Hutto, what you got, buddy?
I'm going to have to agree with Collin. I'm going to LSU. Really, I just think they're going to overpower South Carolina, and I think it might be a little bit tighter game than Collin thinks, but not by much. I think LSU is going to score, and they're going to score often.
I like it. I also like LSU in this game. Now, Williams-Brice Stadium is severely underrated, as Collin said. I've been there before. They're loud. They're rowdy. So that can make a difference in my opinion. But I think LSU is improved on defense despite, they gave up a few points to USC. I think they are improved on defense. I think the offense is going to be good enough. But I do like South Carolina's defense look good against, Dylan Stewart, the freshman defensive end for South Carolina, has been wreaking havoc. He was my player of the week 1. He's a dog. So I think they can cause some problems. I think it's probably a little closer than Collin thinks too, but I do like LSU here. All right. So next, there's not many good games this week, guys. I'm just going to keep it real. Nothing that really intrigues me that jumps off the page. Next is Alabama at Wisconsin. We saw Alabama struggle some against South Florida. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I didn't even look at Wisconsin's record. I think they're undefeated, but I think they struggled a little bit too on Saturday. We'll go with Hutto here. Hutto, what you got in this game, buddy?
I'm going to go ahead and say that Alabama gets a nail put in their coffin on this one. I think Wisconsin comes up. I think they show out, and kind of coming off this week where they've still been playing fairly well this year. I think they've got some hype behind the team, and really this game last Saturday with Alabama and South Florida was kind of what made me. Alabama's playing at home. You should not struggle with a team like South Florida. I think that they're not as well built as everybody thought they were going to be, with Nick Saban still kind of hanging around the program. There's a lot of sloppy football. So I'm going to say Wisconsin comes out with this one in a shocker.
Okay. All right, what you got, Collin?
Not so fast, as Lee Corso would say. Just run the damn ball. Just run the ball. Alabama's going to roll them. I got Alabama by 50. Look, Wisconsin, this isn't 2011, 2012 when they were somewhat good. The only time I've ever bet on Alabama, they lost to Michigan, but I got Alabama winning this in a landslide. Last year, as I was talking about the USF game, last year with Nick Saban, with this team, it was actually a little bit closer than what it was Saturday. So, but I got Alabama. When it comes down to is just run the ball. Jalen Milroe, get out of that pocket and run. That's all he's got to do. That dude is a stud runner. The throwing's a little bit iffy against good defenses, but man, can he reminds me of Cam Newton running the football.
Yeah, he's big, fast, just a crazy athlete. Dude's he's a serious threat to score at any time. It's crazy.
Anytime.
For me, this game, I just went and looked at, and I'd already looked at it, but I didn't know if they were 2-0. Wisconsin's 2-0. They've only scored 28 and 27 points, one against Western Michigan and one against South Dakota, and not South Dakota State, South Dakota. So the offense concerns me a little bit. I think Bama is going to be by far the most physical team they've seen this year. I think it probably is close for 2.5 quarters, maybe 3. But I think they're just too deep. They've got too much talent. it would be a major blunder if they lost to Wisconsin. I know the stadium is pretty good. They're going to be jumping around in the third quarter, whatever they do. I just don't think it's enough. And yeah, I think Alabama did struggle last week, surprised me. But I think they can improve. There's nothing that was like major. Most of it when I was watching was a lot of self-inflicted penalties and just not executing correctly. So if they can clean up the penalties, the false starts, the holding, I think they're going to be fine this year. All right. In the last game, or no, not the last game, sorry. We got 5 games this week. I wanted to throw A&M Florida. I just wanted to hear what y'all had to say about the game. But we're going to go Arizona at Kansas State. I think this game could be sleeper game of the week. Kansas State, I think they played Tulane last week. They pulled off a narrow victory. Kansas State's tough, man. I'm just going to be honest with you. And Arizona looked great. The offense looked great week 1. Defense kind of suspect. Noah Fafita, TT McMillan. That offense is crazy good. Don't get me wrong. The defense, they played better this week, and then the offense didn't play as good this week as they did week 1. So if they can put together a complete game, I do like Arizona here. I think it's going to be close. And Kansas State, Manhattan, that's not an easy stadium to go into and win. So yeah, let's hear from Hutto right here. What you got in this game?
I think Kansas State is going to pull this one out. I think it's going to be fairly close. I want to say within 10 points, but I think Kansas State's going to walk away with it.
I like it. I could see, like I said, especially them at home. If Arizona can put together a complete game, I like them. If they don't, and they haven't shown me they can yet, then I could easily see Kansas State winning. All right, Colin, what you got, buddy?
Avery Johnson has the hair of an old friend of mine that had hair down to his butt cheeks, named Josh Hutto. And the only thing that could bring my man down was Jack Daniels and pregnant strippers. Give me Kansas State in a close one, 31-28.
I love it. Great. So far, everybody's had good reasons why they pick things. Now the game that's probably I might not survive this game. I'm not going to lie. Watching it, I'm probably going to have an aneurysm or a stroke. A&M coming to the swamp in Gainesville, Florida. Both teams are 1-1. Both teams got beat. I won't even say upset. They got beat week 1. They bounced back. Both of them looked better in week 2, but they were against inferior opponents. We'll go Colin right here. Colin, what do you got in this game, buddy?
So, if this was a bowl game, it'd probably be the shit bowl. Texas A&M's defense, it pains me. They're trash. I mean, they're overhyped. Ever since Johnny Manziel came through there, everybody's been overhyped. I mean, when you have a freaking nature like Mike Evans on the outside, it's hard not to be good. But I've got Florida winning this into about almost like a late blowout. DJ Lagway gets his feet up under him, and most likely probably throws for about, I'm thinking, around 290. 2 touchdowns, probably rushing for about 40 yards. But I've got Florida winning it 27-17.
Okay, I like it. Of course, I like it. Hutto, let's hear what you got.
Man, I think if there's a couple components that I think number one, Florida has to start Lagway. I think if they don't do that, this game could go somewhere else. But I think if they get coming off the hype of last week and, scoring a lot of points, I think that as long as they start this quarterback, I think Lagway can take them to a victory. So I'm going to have to pick the Florida Gators.
Let's go. I love it. All right. So the problem last year was Billy's situational play calling. He called stupid plays in dumb situations, and he did it again Saturday. Billy, I'm going to sit up for this one. Billy, you have Lagway, a 5-star, and I know we're banged up at quarterback. I know we don't have anybody after him. He's 6'5", 230, whatever he is, big guy, physical, can run. If we line up in Wildcat one time Saturday, and it's not DJ Lagway back there, and it's not, I wouldn't even be Wildcat. If we line up in Wildcat at all with Montreal Johnson taking a direct snap and we run it up the middle on 4th and 1 and get stopped by Sanford, I'm going to come unglued, brother. Okay, anyway, that's my little rant. But I know what Billy's going to do here. Billy is going to start Graham Mertz. 100%. I already know. I've already prepared myself. I know how Billy operates. He's starting Graham Mertz. I think they're going to alternate possessions, maybe. Alternate, I guess drives is what you would call it. And I think by the end of the game, he has no choice but to leave Lagway in. I think it's going to be a close game. And if I haven't watched Texas A&M's defense, but if they're trash, it's going to be a trash off. because Sanford moved the ball on us pretty much at will. People will look at the score and say, hey, they only scored 7 points. Yeah, they kept jumping off sides, holding, face mask, negative plays, but they moved the ball on us. And Miami lit us up. Okay, so I'm just going to throw that out there. I think Connor Wigman's not very good. So I don't think he'll be able to do what Cam Ward did, or even what Sanford's quarterback did. Who he was mobile. I'll say that. And but I'm gonna pick Florida. Close, very close. But Billy, if you lose this game, there's zero chance you can make a bowl. You're a dead man walking. I beg you to start DJ Lagway and figure out this defense. It's been like this for 3 years. I'm tired of it. Thank you. All right, and
Cam Ward's the truth now.
Yeah, I think Cam Ward's
look a lot worse than what it really is now. It's not good. Don't get me wrong.
Our defense is bad, bro. I'm telling you. Cam
Ward is nasty.
Yeah, Cam Ward played excellent, and he surprised me a lot. I know Cam Ward was a guy that I was not high on. I'll be honest. He's in previous years he's been turnover prone. I know he's a walking big play. He reminds me of Anthony Richardson a lot. He's a lot of boom or bust, but this year he's been all boom. So it looks like the maturity and everything, he's got it figured out. Playing well. Last week, just want to touch on this. Hutto, you went 3-1, and you're 4-4 overall. Tate went 4-0 and is 6-2 overall. And then we'll add Collin in here this coming up week. I got y'all's pick.